Well, strong comments coming in from US President Joe Biden, currently in Kyiv, as well as Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky. While US President Joe Biden says that Kyiv is close to my heart and that he is deeply honored to, in fact, be standing with Ukrainian President Zelensky, also saying that Ukraine reminds us that freedom is priceless, and every day it is Ukraine that is showing the meaning of courage. Visuals right now from US President Joe Biden, who made a surprise visit to Ukraine. He landed in the city of Kyiv just a few days ahead of the Russia-Ukraine war anniversary. Just days to go before completion of an entire year of Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine. US President Joe Biden saying that additional sanctions will be coming in next week, and they have already announced billions in budgetary support. They have said that they are committed to Ukraine, and additional sanctions will be coming next week, while also saying that the Russian economy is in backwaters. Russia has been isolated, and also added that he does not know what is Putin thinking. Well, I'm joined by my colleague Andrzej live on this broadcast. Andrzej, very strong comments coming in from US President Joe Biden, who's currently in Kyiv in Ukraine, just days ahead of the completion of 1 year since the brutal Russia-Ukraine war. What do you make of the comments coming in from the US Prime Minister?
Well, first of all, it's actually a gesture of support. And he has said that a part of his heart is with the Ukrainians. Also that he has been to Kyiv 6 times. But the most important point he's making is that the West, which is America itself, NATO, and other countries, will continue to support the Ukrainians. Now, this is through diplomatic means, this is through economic means, which is why you have all these sanctions. And of course, there will be military support. Whether it's guns, whether it's rockets, whether it's the Abrams or the Leopard tank, that kind of thing will continue to happen. It's a very clear message. When President Biden gets to Kyiv, it's a way of saying, yes, you fought this war for 1 year, and we will continue to support you. It's a message to not just the people of Ukraine, it's a message to Russia, saying that regardless of what you do, we will continue to support the Ukrainians. It's a message to some of his allies in the West, perhaps like the Germans, who were initially appearing to look a little hesitant about supplying tanks, the famous Leopard tank. Now it's a message to everybody. And you've seen what Vladimir Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, has said. He has said that Biden's visit will help in liberating occupied territories. So very, very clearly, it's a strong message just to go to Kyiv at this point. Number one, because the war is getting to be a year old. A Russian offensive in the east is very likely. Keeping all of these things in mind, it's a very clear message to the world, to the Ukrainians, to Russia, to the West.
Right, Andrzej, but if you can also share with us, I would also tell our viewers that even Zelensky did say that Ukraine is grateful to US President Biden and that terrorism can never break civilized countries. But 1 year later, you know, Kyiv stands, democracy stands. But as we see, we are reaching towards a year since when Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine started. What does this visit, you think, mean of just the US President Biden being in Ukraine right now? Is that a very clear message to even, say, China?
Yes, of course. It's a message to the world. The first message is to the people of Ukraine. We are with you. We will help you with weapons. We will help you with training. We will help you with economic support. It's also a message to Russia and a country like China. There is talk that China may supply Russia with weapons. It's also a way of telling China and every other country that, look here, whatever else is happening, America will be supporting the Ukrainians, and the entire West and its allies will be supporting the Ukrainians. It's a very clear message. There cannot be a clearer message. And at this time, just as the war is becoming a year old, just as a Russian offensive in the east is expected, just then you have Biden getting to Kyiv and telling the world that, look here, we are with the Ukrainians.
Right, Srinjoy, strong message indeed. But, only less than a month ago, we think even Ukraine President Zelensky was in the US. He made it to the house and he raised the Ukrainian flag there. So the support or the relations between US and Ukraine were established even back then. So what is the significance of this visit in a war-torn country by the US president?
Well, first of all, America has been supplying Ukraine right from the beginning, right from when the war started. In fact, without very crucial weapons that the Americans have supplied, like the Javelin anti-tank rocket that has destroyed many, many Russian tanks, like the HIMAR, which is a long-range rocket. So all of these things have been very useful to the Ukrainian armed forces. Now we are hearing that these tanks are coming, the Abrams tanks, the Leopard tank, 31 Abrams, 14 Challengers from Britain, some of the Leopards. We don't know exactly how many, but probably a battalion, as they put it, which is the equivalent of a regiment of Indian tanks, which could be about 40 to 45. Now, all of that is coming. So American support is there, and America is making it very clear. This, of course, it's the timing of it. It's nearly a year since the war began. And this is a war that initially looked like would last 6 days. And Soviet and Russian tanks would be in Kiev in about 5 or 6 days. But it hasn't happened like that. It hasn't happened at all like that. And the Ukrainians have fought back. The Javelin was used extensively against this column of Russian tanks that were coming in, and many were destroyed. Even in the east, the Russians initially took over a lot of land, but some of the land the Ukrainians have taken back. So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a long, bitter, difficult war for both sides.
Right, Srinjoy, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us live on Mirror now and sharing all those details with us. Well, we did listen to US President Joe Biden, where he did say that Putin thought he could outlast us, by which he means Ukraine, and the support that, of course, the United States has been offering the war-torn country. But he obviously said that Putin is simply plain wrong, and also adding that every day Ukraine shows the world the meaning of courage, and it reminds the world that freedom is priceless. Well,